So I went on a journey with the Stratios. I'm actually quite far away from my home system at the moment, and I believe next week I will be really far away from my home system once the new region is out. The goal with this build is to have a ship that's capable of doing PvP, exploration and PvE. Although I did encounter some, let's say, issues with a multi-purpose build like that, and I also encountered some basic ship limitations. You can't really have one ship that can deal with all the ships in the game. You'll have ships that will counter you, and the build is kind of trying to lessen the impact of that, so that I have a lot of options to choose from when deciding to engage a target. Basically, to have a ship that can deal with the vast majority of ships that are going to be lurking around. Now, I know that a lot of you guys have questions about the new region. I also have a lot of questions that I don't have the answer for, but the main question that I have would be how will they connect the new region with the old systems? Are they going to have a Stargate connecting the two parts, or is there going to be a more, let's say, unconventional method of getting there? Since there's a good chance that they might connect the regions with wormholes, since it could technically be, kind of a soft launch of wormholes, based on what I see, since Cobalt Edge is basically right here at the edge of the galaxy, as the name suggests, and based on the size of the thing, it's not that small. You have a couple hundred systems here, and you also have other regions. Now the question is, are they releasing the whole thing or just Cobalt Edge? I would guess that they might just release Cobalt Edge, which is this little patch of the galaxy here. However, if you notice the distance between Cobalt Edge and the nearest null sac system, which would be, I think it's Cache actually. Yeah, Cache might be the closest one on the map. Yeah, definitely. This little system here, K85, is the closest to this little cluster here. Honestly, this kind of looks like a separate galaxy, although if you look at the map, Cobalt Edge is really far away, and I can kind of see them connecting that with a wormhole, since you definitely are not going to be able to sign in from any of the current systems into Cobalt Edge. It's just way too far away. Can actually calculate the distance. Let me just do something. Jump simulation starts, and let's go to this little system. Jump simulation destination, 14.16 light years. Yeah, that's far. You can't really sign off from one point to the other, and that's outer passage. That's not even like that's not even the Cobalt Edge system. Hold on 1 second, let me fix that. Jump start destination, jump start, and let's go to Cobalt Edge. Okay, nearest Cobalt Edge system is, I guess, this over here. Jump destination, 20.13 light years. So yeah, you definitely are not going to be able to sign in with a capital if you want to go there. So yeah, the distance is quite far. My capital has like 5.5 AU light year distance with the sign. This is like 4 times the length of that. So yeah, that's actually quite far, and doesn't matter what point you choose, what point you pick, basically. That's the closest point, by the way. If we go to a different system, let's see, what might be the other closest system that we can theoretically use. Let's just take this one. Jump simulation start. Jesus Christ, that's far away. 25.53 light years. Yeah, that's quite far. And if you want to go, let's say here, yeah, that's going to be 36.91 light years away. So for a conventional sino jump, Cobalt Edge is quite far. So if they released that one system, that one region, then I have no idea how we're going to be able to transport capitals over there. Unless if there is a gate connecting the two parts, then I guess, yeah, you can jump through the gate and then pilot the capitals or sino jump from that point. So if they are connected with a Stargate, then you can easily go from we can go jump the gate with the capital and then just do sino once you are in the region. But I believe the sheer distance, and since the other part of the Dragonlance is going to be unknown, basically not probably not released, that's just my guess right now. The other guess would be that it's going to be connected with wormholes, which is by itself quite interesting. However, I kind of feel that it's weird that wormholes are going to be connecting the main galaxy with the Dragonlance, since they should connect the wormhole space with the normal galaxy. I don't know. I've also seen players speculate that wormhole space is going to be in between our old galaxy and the new parts, which honestly that would be kind of interesting, but a lot of speculation but very little information that is guaranteed. So these next 8 days are going to be very hard to go through, since I want answers but I don't know. There is little to no information at the moment, so hopefully we do get to know more before the update is out, since this is one of the more exciting updates in the recent should be one of the more exciting updates in the recent years. I remember someone making a joke that it might be a new dormant realm, although dormant realms are sleepers, these are drones, two different things. So yeah, that's also something funny that I heard players talking about. Now, what is the build on the Stratios that I'm talking about here? So the goal is, and the idea behind this does come from EVE Online, although in EVE Online we have the mobile depot, which you can load in the cargo and basically deploy when you want to change the build. At the moment in this game we don't really have a mobile depot, and that kinda sucks, because once you build your ship you can either build it only for PvP or PvE, or you can actually do something in between. However, you will be limited to doing the combat PvE part, since you can't really change the fitting in space at the moment. You need a mobile depot to do that. We don't have that at the moment. Hopefully they do add that as time goes on. Now the combat PvE part would be something like this. Now it's not really required that you have like the scrambler and web. However, I have the web and scrambler as primarily defensive. If I end up getting tackled, then I might be able to slow them down and basically apply more damage with the drones, with the missiles. I use the offense drones, they have some nasty DPS. I have 1000 DPS on this Stratios. Will be enhanced as time goes on, since I am doing something with the skills and with the implant. I have one scanner. The blue scanner will be very important if you want to find your way out. If there is a unconventional way of getting to the new region, then you need to have a blue scanner in order to basically navigate through the systems. If you don't have one, and if you jump through, and if the entrance collapses, you are in some big trouble, since you are not going to be able to find your way out if there is no conventional gate within the region. So a blue scanner is going to be extremely important if one of the options that I was talking about is true. If not, then the blue scanner might not be useful for navigation, but it will be useful to find data sites, combat sites, relic sites, stuff like that. If local doesn't work, this is where the narrow scanner will kick in. This is going to be your eyes and ears in space, since if local doesn't work, which good chance that it doesn't, then this is going to give you an opportunity to see what's around you without actually physically seeing the ship. So going to be very important. So these two modules, these two slots will be in most cases already eaten up by the by these two scanners. However, note that cloaky ships are not going to be able to be seen on the scanner, and cloaky ships are going to be dominant in the new region if the local doesn't work and if there is no conventional way of actually getting there. These two scanners are going to be very crucial to survive. Basically, your eyes and ears and your keys to basically go from system to system are going to be these two scanners. Which leads us to the other two slots that are free. Now, if you plan to do PvP, then a web and scrambler definitely the way to go. If you plan on doing PvE, then having analyzers is the way to go. Although you can also do PvE without webs and scramblers, but you have to be very careful with what's around you. So since you can't slow down anything, and you can hold anything since you don't have any points and webs, so you would have to rely solely on your eyes and ears, which are the two scanners that you will have on your ship. Now we're moving on the low slots. Now since this is a Stratios, this thing is awfully slow, and I feel like mobility, agility, and overall speed, maneuverability will be very important in the new region if the local doesn't work, and if other things are also true that I told you today, that I was talking about today. A micro-warp is definitely one way to be fast, since Stratios is a brick and this thing is awfully slow with an afterburner. It's so slow with an afterburner that it makes the Ashimu look like a rally car compared to it. So yeah, although you can also use an afterburner if you like. There are some advantages of using an afterburner, but a micro warp drive will ensure that you quickly gain distance, that you quickly get range, and you get more chances to survive if you get jumped but the target is far away from you, so that you have enough time to warp out and cloak. An armor repair and a drone damage and fire. Now I don't really know what I'll do with the build on this thing, since this Stratios is built for DPS, and I'm not really sure if I will go with a tank or if I want to go with a DPS ship. I feel like both options are quite good, although at the moment I don't know what would be the so-called best option. I always say that a good tank will defeat a high DPS, but at the same time you definitely don't want to be uncloaked for a very long time around a dangerous space like that where you don't see anything around you, since you don't know if you are dealing with one target or if you are dealing with 20 targets. It might be a solo ship running something, or it might be a whole corp living there. So that's I guess one aspect where the DPS part will be useful, since you can kill fast. But if you encounter a target that has a good tank, you might be in trouble. The Stratios has good DPS, but you can easily counter high DPS with a good tank. So in the end, that's how things go. I don't know what I'll do with the rigs on this thing. Torn between tank and DPS. Might buy two of them, build one tank, one DPS, and then see what works best. But for now, I think I'll just keep using the Stratios as DPS. Could be a bad idea, could be a good idea. At the moment, I have no idea. It depends on how things go. We'll have to test things out before I get to a conclusion. And of course, the most important module, if there is no local, and if what I already said before is true, a cloaking device will be the most important module in the game. Well, not in the game, but the most important module in the region. Since if you are cloaked, no one can see you, no one can scan you, and one of the ways to be 100% safe is to be cloaked. So a cloaking device is going to be a must if you are going inside of that space. So overall, I believe it's going to be very fun. When I say fun, going to be quite stressful for sure, and going to be quite scary, since humans have that natural fear of the unknown. Well, I'm not really the same in that aspect, since I'm attracted to the unknown. I have that curiosity aspect that pushes me to go towards something like that. So I'll definitely go and have some fun in the new region when it's out. As for the high slots, I have rapid missiles, mostly because the rapid missiles are universally good against most of the targets. You can use the rapids against frigates, cruisers, battle cruisers, anything. And for now, I will use them. So that was basically the whole point and the whole idea of me experimenting with the build. And well, with that being said, let's see how this cute little boat performs. I'm fairly sure I'll have to adjust a lot after I finish with this current test today. Now, I have no idea what type of combat anomalies we can expect over there, but if we follow the current anomaly system that we have based on the low sec systems, deep null systems, we can expect to encounter scouts, inquisitors, and potentially something new. Could be very similar, could also be quite different. There might be several different types of enemies there, with multiple layers of difficulty. All pure speculation at the moment, since we don't really have exact info on what to expect. Now, the drone ships are by itself quite interesting. If you are coming from EVE Online, you're probably familiar with the so-called infected ships. There's a good chance that they might make an appearance, although the drone ships have basically their own hulls and their own designs. There are these weird-looking, tentacle-looking ships that most of you guys are probably familiar with. They're quite similar to sleepers, although sleepers do have that different design to them. Sleepers do feel more alien-like, while the drones feel more AI-like, with of course differences between their designs and differences between how they work. The damage types will be interesting. Drones in EVE Online, I think they used to have a kinetic and thermal hull. Been a while since I've done any drone related thing in EVE Online, but I remember swapping my missiles to kinetic missiles just to match the resistance hull. They're going to be overall quite interesting. Now, speaking of the ship sizes of the drone ships, they do have frigates, cruisers, battleship class level, and they also have capitals. If you remember on that picture that we could see, that huge structure, that's basically the drone hive, I believe. And I would guess in a capital drone anomaly, capital drone sites, a special site, very similar to the capital sites that we currently have. Well, if we follow the same anomaly logic, then I guess there would be a capital ship anomaly with drones. You might have to shoot down all of these things, so it's going to be fun. I know in EVE Online we have a bunch of different dead space sites with drones where you have to shoot down some big structures. Could be something similar to that. Could also be a very similar system to what we already have in this game. If you ask me, I would say it will probably be very similar to the system that we already have. You would be able to find small, medium, and large anomalies. You will also have special anomalies, you will also have bases, and you could settle the systems. You can open up a citadel over there. I know a lot of players are already preparing for the big move. Now I don't know if my alliance will follow. I have no idea what the guys have planned. I'm kind of out of touch with what's happening in my alliance at the moment. I know they're busy with something else right now, but all that might change. Perhaps, I mean, I have to check something out on the map after I finish recording this. We do have some form of combat going on, which could potentially be because of the new region that will be opened. So they might be planning something. They might not. I personally have absolutely no clue and idea what they're planning to do. All I know is that I will probably go there, and the way how I will go there depends on how it is accessible. If it is accessible via a gate, that gate is going to be camped, very camped, and in that case I'll have to build a interceptor to go there. So yeah, I have already a bunch of different ideas and plans how to reach that new region. Now, so far I can say that the build does feel okay. Now when I say okay, there is definitely a lot of improvements to be done on this ship. Primarily a change on the engineering rigs. Now the capacitor on the Stratios doesn't seem to be a big problem at the moment. I kind of do. I'm kind of satisfied with how the capacitor performance on this thing works. You might be wondering, why do I fly a Stratios and why do I plan to fly a Stratios in that unknown space? Well, the requirement, it's not really a requirement, but in order to be completely safe, without any compromises on the safety, you have to have at least 4 medium slot modules. Any ship with 4 medium slots is going to work just fine. Now, out of the cruisers that have 4 slots, the Stratios has the best scanner performance, and it also can basically insta-lock after the cloaks like a bomber. So all that does make the Stratios literally the best possible ship for what I need for the purpose of going there. Now you can use the RB, you can use any cover-tops cruiser with 4 medium slots, but they are not going to perform as well as the Stratios. Now, also that does come with a risk. Stratios, as you all know, is a faction ship. It's quite pricey. You can bet that the price on this thing will skyrocket if the new region is accessible via wormhole portals. Since Sister of Eve ships are, I would say, one of the best ones to be used in such unknown hostile space. They have the resistance, they have the DPS, and all that. Now you can also use the Astro, and you can also use the other exploration frigates, non-faction ones. You can use them. You can easily use them. So there's good chance that they might increase the medium slots. That they might add +1 medium slot on most of the ships, so that they can fulfill the exploration role even better. However, I would say for now all of the frigates and a lot of cruisers will have only 3 medium slots, but it would be nice if they do get 1 extra medium slot, just so that they can fit the red scanner, just for that extra safety. But I can definitely see the price of the exploration ships massively go up, since they are going to be very crucial to navigate through that space. Of course, in the end, it really does depend on how it's going to be accessible. Since if there is a Stargate, the classic way to get there, then interceptors might go up in price. Since you know, you will jump through, and basically no bubble will basically stop you from going in or going out. But again, we will see how that will go. If it is accessible via a Stargate, it is probably the longest jump in the game, since it will cross over 20 light years. And I'm not really aware of any other gate that connects two systems at the same distance. Overall, it does kind of give you a sense of size, since when you look at the map, it's quite far away. So overall, I mean, I really do like that idea so far. Could be the best update that the game has ever had so far. It all depends on how it's rolled out. We will see how it will go. In less than 8 days from now, oh my god, it's the wait. The wait is killing me. I would love to go to sleep and just wake up one day before the anniversary, before the update. So we still have some time to go until that, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for everything that might be happening here. Now, so far the DPS part on the Astro is okay. I'm actually leaning more towards the tank build, perhaps even combining tank with DPS with integrations. However, I don't really like to. I don't feel like using integrations that much nowadays, because I don't know. It is one of the rare moments where I kind of don't know what to do with the build, since it's Eve and you can't really cover for all the scenarios. And I know my luck. If I go build a ship in one way, you can bet that I'll stumble upon ships that I can't take on. Since you know that's just how Eve works. There are ships that you can kill, and there are ships that you need to change the build or basically take another ship so that you can counter them. Now, I do expect to see a lot of Covertops cruisers within the new space, and for Covertops cruisers I don't really need to have a lot of DPS, since most of them are paper by default. So if you kind of look at things in this way, then you can figure out that maybe having a good tank could be the way to go. Although at the same time, if I'm not expecting to meet something tanky, then high DPS is also one way. However, I believe most Stratios cruisers out there will be built for tank, and a Stratios with a tank build can kill a Stratios that's a DPS build. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of experimenting going around, and I feel like now I would lean more towards the tank. If you have to fight a tank, fight the tank with a tank. That could be fun. And also, as for the implants, not really sure if I should use the run bombs or if I should use the thermal circulation. The thermal circulation would work wonders would work wonders on a tank build, since that extra 20% resistance is going to be really helpful. Can get about 92% resistance on the Stratios with the thermal circulation implant. And I think I might just go with that one. Basically have a very chunky Stratios. The other problem would be the capacitor then. So if you start to unchain and unravel the build, you will see potential problems that need to be solved. If I go with a tank, then I have to make sure that my capacitor is stable. If I do that, then I lose some of the mobility and things, and things like that. It just starts piling up. I might just decide to go one integration for every for every single rig that's required. That might be one way to do it, I guess. Definitely quite a exciting thing to do. It might look easy when I'm talking about the build like this, but trust me, it is anything but easy. You have to cover for a lot of different things within the build. So, how do I like this Stratios at the moment? Well, definitely, as I already mentioned, room for improvement. I like the idea of it. I like how it runs, but there are things that have to be improved, and I kind of have a general idea on what to do now. Now, I'll make two Stratios cruisers, one tank, one DPS, and I'll just see which one of these ships ends up working in a better way. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little run. Was a lot of theory building today, a lot of theory craft, a lot of ideas that I put out there, and I'm also quite curious to see what builds you guys have in mind. Very interested to see how would you build the Stratios if you plan to go and explore the unknown space that will be added at one point, since I want to see as many ideas as possible. Perhaps I do get a idea of what to do when... I mean, I already have an idea, but just want to see what you guys also think about what kind of build would you use on the ship. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, it helps out a lot. And with that being said, stay safe, play safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.